Yo, what up YouTube? What's going on today? Welcome back to the channel. I know I didn't make a last chapter review.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I've been sick and I haven't been able to make that video, but I'm feeling much better now, so I should be able to make it. So we got chapter 16 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and bro, this chapter revealed greasy information, especially with what we got between Sumire and Sarada in this chapter. Yo, there's some serious tension between the two. I think Sumire is going to be an enemy. She is going to do some messed up stuff in the future because she wants Boruto all to herself. Now, I know some people are going to argue against that, and honestly, that's understandable, alright? She has helped Boruto and everybody because she's not affected by the omnipotence, but the problem with Sumire arises that she got very jealous of Sarada hugging Boruto, and this has actually been hinted back at chapter 19 in Boruto part 1 when she says that if other girls are interested in him, I get bothered by that. So when Sarada hugged Boruto, she was very bothered by that, and so deep in her heart, she sees Sarada as an enemy. Now, there's various things that I could see happening with Sarada and Sumire. The first thing being that Sumire turns against Sarada. She turns against Sarada and wants to take Boruto for herself. Thus, she makes a plan to actually kill Sarada, and so taking Sarada out of Boruto's life. And I see this as being a possible future because Boruto knows the future. Him and Koji know everything that's gonna happen, and so they can't share everything. So when Boruto and Sarada hugged back in chapter 6, he gives Sumire the side eye. He doesn't talk to her much or anything. I think this actually hints that Sumire turns against Sarada, and thus Boruto knows that she's actually evil. And so when Boruto leaves, he was telling Sarada something, saying that, and I will save ... I think he was implying that he's going to save Sarada from Sumire. Now, I know there's some issues in the fandom right now between the borusumis and BoruSara's. Right now, I think they are hinting more towards BoruSara. Even the cover page of this chapter says that love looks not with the mind, but with the eyes. And as we have noticed, since the beginning of Boruto to now, Boruto and Sarada talk through their eyes. And that is a very, very big hint to Boruto and Sarada's feelings. And that means that Boruto and Sarada are going to be endgame and they have deeper feelings for each other. Most likely, they do love each other because they work as a team. As we've seen in the Boro fight, Boruto was able to understand Sarada right away with what she was going to do. And honestly, with Sumire, the way I see it is that she's actually jealous of what Sarada possesses. She wants the relationship that Sarada has with Boruto. And if you notice that every girl in Boruto does not have that relationship with Boruto except Sarada. And I think Sumire wants that relationship, and so does Eida. Eida doesn't realize it yet, but I think she is slowly falling for Boruto. As we've seen in this chapter, she even has a flashback of Boruto telling everybody that I'm not going to tell you the future. I'm not lying to you. She's slowly getting turned on by him. Even with what we've seen in the Mitsuki fight, she is feeling something towards Boruto, and that is Boruto being a badass shinobi. She is seeing somebody who's making their own path and has the balls to lay it down.
And so Eida is thirsty as fuck. But now getting back to Sumire.
Sumire is going to betray Sarada and Boruto. And she does this in the wrong way that causes Boruto to not like her. And like I said, since Boruto knows the future, he knows what Sumire is gonna do. But he's not saying anything because he knows that he can change the future. As Kashin Koji did tell us in this chapter, that anything that Boruto tells to these people has a possibility of changing the future. And because Kashin Koji, Eida, and Boruto are singularities, their job is to make sure the future goes in the right direction, but without revealing too much information.
And so Boruto knows that Sumire betrays him in the future, but he's not saying anything to her because he does not want to change the future. He knows that if he says anything to them, that will affect the future and put everyone in danger. And this could also explain why Boruto gives Sumire the side eye back when Sarada hugged him. He knows she did some villainous shit.
Now, this brings me to the next point. Since Sumire might be confronted by Boruto and Sarada's feelings, and that she knows that it is not meant for her, she might turn her eyes towards Kawaki. Now, I know everyone's gonna say that Kawaki has a relationship with Eida, but bro, as you can see from the last 16 chapters, I don't see that going anywhere. A man literally talks shit to her and does not even like her. And this is where Sumire comes in. If you notice in this chapter, when Sarada calls out Sumire saying class rep, she's like, how long are you gonna keep calling me that? This tells us that Sumire is actually hurt that nobody has called her by her name except Kawaki. Even Boruto calls her class rep. And I think that low-key has affected her, that nobody acknowledges her for herself. They all acknowledge her as the class rep of their class. She wants to be her own person. She doesn't want to be categorized by something she was previously. And I think Sumire low-key has some bad vibes of being the class rep because she did at one point almost kill everybody in her class. She had them turned against each other. She had some villainous plans to take down Konoha saw and everything back in the Sumire arc in part 1. And I think she does not want to be associated with that through her being called class rep. And so this is where Kawaki enters into the picture. Kawaki is the only one who calls Sumire by her name. And right now in this chapter, we've seen that Sumire is in her mind somewhere saying, why did I say that to Sarada? Kawaki might be randomly walking by and he sees her and he sees that she's in distress. He's going to confront her and thus call her by her name, which might actually show that Kawaki actually thought of her as a person. And Kawaki can relate to her because everybody looked at Kawaki as a weapon, but she saw Kawaki as a person. So what's going to happen is there is going to be some sort of moment between Kawaki and Sumire. And honestly, this might be a bit of a reach, but what if that fight between Boruto and Kawaki is actually Sumire telling Kawaki that she wants Boruto? As stupid as that sounds, Sakura entrusted Naruto to bring back Sasuke for her. So what if in this case, Sumire is telling Kawaki that she wants Boruto, but Boruto does not accept that outcome, and thus him and Boruto fight? Like I said, I know that's a bit of a reach, but I can see that happening if Sumire pours out her feelings to Kawaki and Kawaki understands her. Now this brings me to the final piece of the board. That is Eida. Eida is going to be watching the past events and she low-key has seen everything. So she's going to know that Sumire talked to Kawaki and thus she's going to give Sumire a warning saying, don't go after my man, otherwise I'm going to kill you. This is where Sumire snaps and go against everyone, where she has both sides saying that you can't have that person. Sarada with Boruto, Eida with Kawaki, they're both telling Sumire that this is our man, you need someone else. This is where Sumire might actually turn back into vengeance. She might actually get revenge and she might fall down the dark path where she has to be eventually killed. So this could be hinting to a Sumire villain arc because right now Sumire has no one else to talk to. Even Sarada was still having flashbacks of what happened with Sumire when Sarada goes to the hidden sand. Mitsuki and Konohamaru both notice that Sarada is spacing out because Sarada right now can't confront her feelings either, which is funny because Yodo makes a remark to Sarada saying, your aura has changed a lot. Are you into a guy? She's like, huh? No? She was like so flustered that she didn't know what to say. Yodo's like, not that it matters at all. I think Yodo knows that Sarada can't confront her feelings, and she knows the way Sarada is acting and even dressing. She's looking for the attention of a certain guy, and that being Boruto. So the way we have less than 25 chapters, they are going to show Sarada's feelings eventually. And Sarada is going to tell Sumire that she does acknowledge her feelings, but she feels more for Boruto. And so it's ultimately going to come down to Boruto on who he is going to choose. Most likely is going to be Sarada because their relationship's on another level. So yeah, this chapter was greasy, guys. I was enjoying every moment of it because shit was getting interesting in the romance department. Now, I know Boruto's not a romance anime or manga or anything, but me being a BoruSara's shipper, I like to see the way my ship is going. Even Eida was finding all this stuff juicy in this chapter. She was low-key trying to laugh at Sumire, but she didn't want to do that. This was some real Gossip Girls type shit right here, you know? So overall, this chapter is pretty good. We now have Team 7 going into the hidden sand and they're gonna fight Ryu and Matsuri. And so those two are going to be the first ones to get reverted back into human beings. Their Shinjus are going to get destroyed. And because of this fight coming up, we're most likely going to see Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan because she's going up against Shinjus who are OP as fuck. So that's it for this video. I know I talked more about the shipping stuff, but that was the most greasiest part of this chapter. Let me know how you guys feel about this chapter and how you guys feel about what's going on in the shipping department in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And stay tuned. I'm going to have more videos eventually once I get a bit better. But we are going to have some greasy stuff coming soon.